In this video, I'm going to show you how to repair a run if you didn't notice it or weren't in a place you could catch it while your sock was still on the machine. You've taken it off and realized you had a problem and need to repair it. It is the easiest to have a crochet hook. I am using a C, USC or 2, it's 2.75 millimeters. And that works great for regular fingering weight sock yarn. And then you'll also need just a sewing needle with a little piece of yarn from your sock and a pair of scissors. You'll see as soon as I caught that there was an issue, I found the live loop that started the problem, and I caught it in a stitch marker. Now, this is how you want to orient yourself so that the saved stitch is at the bottom of the run, okay, and you're looking up. I would also note, before I go much farther, that this is a knit row. As you see, I have some ribbing here, and this is 3x1 rib, so these are purl rows, and here are knit rows. You want to be on the knit side. So from looking from this perspective, it's a rib row that had the run. I would flip the sock inside out so that you're working on the side with the V's. Okay? So you start by taking your crochet hook and pick it up. Make sure the stitch is not twisted. Okay? You pick it up onto the crochet hook. And from here, you are going to pick up each ladder one at a time, just like you would if you were on the sock machine, except for you just crochet each stitch. So if you're not a crocheter, I'll show you this slowly, you're going to twist to the side a little bit to pull the ladder through the initial stitch. That was it. And then you do the next one. So you go up under the next ladder, you kind of twist to the side to pull it through the stitch. And you can see it has exactly repaired those stitches, so you won't even be able to see them. Right? And you just continue like that all the way up, doing one ladder at a time. And then at the end, I will show you how to sew in the last loop. So here I am back at the end. I've done that entire row. And again, you can see they're just invisible now. They've gone all right back in exactly like they're supposed to. And I'm at the very last ladder. Pick that up and re-knit it. Okay, so I've now done all of the stitches, and this next one caught when I was knitting it on the machine. And so that's where we need to rejoin them. At this point, you need to turn your sock inside out. So you might want to go ahead and use your stitch marker to capture that stitch again. We're going to pick it up from this side, but first we need to take our little scrap piece of yarn from the inside of the sock. So here's where we're trying to go. Sorry, here you go. That's the stitch we're going to repair. So we're going to start from going from the inside straight up into the middle of that stitch. Here's my yarn. I'm going to go kind of up through the open hole. Okay. And then I'm going to place the stitch on the needle. Okay, so that live stitch is now over my needle. Pull up a yarn, and now I can take the stitch marker out. I'm sure I've caught the stitch. Pull the yarn all the way out, and now you're going to go behind the bars straight above it. So this is the V, this little gap is the V that had the problem. Okay. And so I'm going to go one up. I'm going to go behind the 2 bars of the V that's one up from where my problem is. Okay. And now I'm going to go back down into the center of the stitch. The one that my needle's in right now was the center of the stitch with the problem. I'm going to go back down into the center of that stitch. Reach in from inside. And there you go. You can see you can't even tell where that is now. It's completely repaired like it never happened. We can actually go one more to make sure it's anchored. But we did such a good job repairing it, I can't see where that stitch is anymore. So let me go back in. So here's where we just went in. I'm going to try to go into the V just 1 stitch down. Yep, there I am in the V, 1 stitch down. I go 1 up, go back behind the legs. Wait, it's not high enough up here. Back behind the legs of the V above, down, and then back into that same little hole in the V. Okay. And after you've done that just a couple of times, that should anchor it. Okay, right there is where our repair was. And then on this side of the sock, you're now going to weave in the ends. First one side, then the other side. Okay, so this tail end just came down from under this stitch. So now it would naturally, it's going to follow along this little smile. So we're going to go up into the next one and back at a diagonal. So you're going through those 2. And then it would naturally follow up along this way. So we go down into the next one and diagonally back again. And then we came out here. So this is where our little yarn has to drape if it's following along. So you go up into the next one and then back at a diagonal, which is the one we just came down through, right like that. Okay. And then if I have a ribbed sock, I come over this little ribbing area. I just go down and around a few times. And the stitch will just, will just melt right in. And you can cut it off. There you go. Then you do the exact same thing with this yarn. I would put it under those stitches here and then weave it in over here, and it will be completely repaired. You won't even be able to see where your run was. I hope that helps. Happy knitting! Visit us at deanandbean.com and please like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.